Hello. I decided to make this sketch into a little sped up video for y'all. I was just kind of learning to make videos. Had my camera in this position, which is great for TikTok and not great for videos in general and computer screens. So, yeah, thought I'd just make it into a fun little fast one for you. I'm using Zorn palette, which is titanium white, yellow ochre, cadmium red, and ivory black. And that's it. Even though you see all those other colors, I'm not using them. I would recommend that if you're not used to using a limited palette and want to try, that you don't have all the other colors available unless you're very mindful when you paint. You can take little pieces of paper towel and place them over the other colors if you don't want to start from scratch on your palette. But the less you have to remember when you're learning, the better. So keep it simple. All right, so I'm using straight lines. An average dark color, kind of a warm dark brown or medium brown really. It feels dark now, but the hair will end up being a lot darker on the irises. I'd wash the paper with oil, like an oil medium. You can use like a lavender spike oil, which a lot of people like, which is non-toxic, or linseed oil terp mix, or linseed oil odorless mineral spirits, also known as. About a 50-50 mix, or a 60 oil 40 terp, and mix in a little black paint and wash the paper. The paper I'm using is the Arch oil paper. Sounds like arches, or looks like it sounds like that, but I was told you say arch. Anyhow, that's pretty absorbent stuff, so the oil wash is good for two reasons. First, you can kill that white of the paper so it's easier to get an accurate value to start with. Because if you put something as dark as I'm drawing with on a white paper, it'll feel even darker. And you will think you've gone dark enough, and you won't have, because of the contrast that's tricking you. So kind of killing that white is really good, helpful for judging values. Also, using black, keeping the color of your wash neutral, helps you in gauging accurate color choices. I don't always use black, but this is kind of the simple, practical approach that, like I said, keep it simple. So I'm drawing with all straight lines, you'll see. Easier to get accurate shapes if you're doing a series of short measured straight lines rather than trying to attempt a curve in one fell swoop and getting it kind of right and then judging other things off of something that's kind of right, and then it kind of grows out in a monstrous way from there. So this video will just be kind of step 1 and step 2 of my portrait painting process that I've been teaching for 12 years now. And it takes obviously much longer than this. I've been told I'm a slow painter. People are always surprised how slow and intentional and methodical I am, especially in this first step where we're just finding those dark shapes and outlining them, designing them, measuring. If I'm going to paint a 3-hour Alla prima portrait, which is the length of most of my live demos, then it's usually the first hour that I'm just doing this step before I even fill in any of the darks. It's very reassuring for me to have an accurate likeness and a pleasing composition already set up and in no doubt before I go forward and start doing the more complicated juggling act of colors and values and brush strokes and paint thickness, etc. So I just loathe to have to really do a big drawing correction once I've got a lot of buttery paint on there. That's not saying that I don't have to sometimes, but usually there are smaller adjustments if I take the time to be careful and thoughtful in this first step. A lot of my students have said they're uncomfortable with doing this and not filling in the shapes as they go, and they can't tell what they've painted. My advice, if that's how it feels to you, is to give it some time. It's not like the first time I tried this, it was comfortable, but I realized how practical it was and I leaned into it. But to tell if something's wrong, adding more paint is not a practical idea, right? I don't know if this iris shape is correct. How about I fill it in? Then what if you fill it in and you realize it's incorrect? And now you have more mess to clean up in your adjustment. So just give it some time if you want to try this method before you assume that it's not going to work for you. Anything different will feel scary at first, but that place is a learning place. Now I'm starting to fill in, same average dark that I used to draw with. So that should let you know that we also spend some time thinking about what we're going to use to draw with. It's not just any old color I'm grabbing. I adjust it depending on my subject every time. It's never the same mixture. So when people ask me, what are your skin tones? How do you mix the skin tone? The answer is observe, test, adjust, observe, test, adjust, observe, test, adjust. So just logical plans and observing and comparing. All right, we're about done with this one. So this is just step 1 and step 2. Kind of didn't know how far I was going to go with the drawing, decided we needed a nostril. So that's kind of a little of that step 1 put in after step 2, but we're kind of letting the composition grow as needed. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this.